I'm Jen Piacenti with Fantasy Alarm, and let me start off this video by saying there is so much value all over the slate for Sunday. But if you really want a bargain, how about MITCH Trubisky for $6,900 on FanDuel and $5,400 on DraftKings? Now, before you turn this off, listen to this. In real life, MITCH Trubisky can be very frustrating, but much like our old pal Carson Wentz, Trubisky can still turn in a few good fantasy performances because, friends, garbage time still counts. Last week, Mitch put up more than 20 fantasy points, which was more than Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, and Kyler Murray. Now this week, Trubisky gets a very soft matchup with the Detroit defense that has surrendered the 7th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks this year. Well, not only that, but Mitch has historically had the Lions number. In the last 4 matchups, he has put up 19.7, 24.9, 24.3, and 20.8 points. The Lions have also been incredibly generous to the wide receiver position, and with Trubisky's price tag, you can more than afford a share of my guy, Allen Robinson. We saw Trubisky and Robinson connect for 2 touchdowns last week, and Robinson is still criminally undervalued, well, everywhere, but especially at only $6,900 on FanDuel. So while we're attacking the Detroit Lions, it has to be mentioned that they are the worst in the league versus the run. I mean, heck, they even made Duke Johnson look like a superstar, putting up over 15 fantasy points. So you know what that means? Yep, I am in on David Montgomery this week. Montgomery, we know he's gonna get the volume, and though he's been underwhelming this year, maybe a soft matchup was all he really needed to get going. Last week versus Green Bay's 3rd worst run defense, Monty had his first 100-yard game of the season, which was good for 25 DraftKings points. Well, better late than never. And as Monty hasn't seen less than 10 carries per game all season, and he's also involved in the passing game, at $6,200 on FanDuel and $5,500 on DraftKings, I'll gamble on another good day for David Montgomery. Now, if you haven't gotten on board the Corey Davis train yet, it's okay, you're not too late. But did you realize Davis has put up double-digit fantasy points in all but 1 game so far this year? I know, that's so 2020, but it's Corey Davis season, baby, and this week his matchup versus a Cleveland secondary that has given up the 10th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers looks awfully juicy. Vegas expects this game to have the most points this week, so expect the Titans to do a little more than just run. Davis is $6,100 on FanDuel and $5,100 over there on DraftKings. Here's another bargain. LAVISKA SHENAULT is back from injury, and should DJ Chark and Chris Conley continue to be limited, I love the price versus that Minnesota secondary that has surrendered the 3rd most fantasy points to wide receivers so far this season. SHENAULT saw 4 targets last week from Mike Glennon, and SHENAULT has been used creatively all season long, not just in the passing game, but also a little bit with the run. LAVISKA SHENAULT is only $5,200 on FanDuel and $3,600 on DraftKings. Could this be the week we see a breakout? Okay, one more wide receiver and I swear I'll stop, but how can you pass up the price on Nelson AGHOLOR? He's $5,400 on FanDuel, $5,200 on DraftKings. In case you hadn't noticed, he doesn't have a case of the dropsies anymore, and he is the #1 target over there in Las Vegas. Now, look, I know, Derek Carr put up a real stinker last week, but everybody has a bad day now and then, and it's nothing a matchup with the Jets can't immediately fix. AGHOLOR has a touchdown in 6 of 12 games so far this season, and I see no reason why the Jets won't oblige for number 7. And finally, at tight end, we are going to go bargain here and try to pick up some of what Will Fuller left on the field. I'm going with Darren Fells here over Akins, as his 6'7" wingspan makes him a perfect red zone target. Fells has also shown flashes of upside this year when between weeks 5 and 6, he had 2 touchdowns and 142 yards. Now, it's true, that was without Akins on the field, but guess what? Now they're without Stills, Cobb, and Fuller. This is an offense that throws, as the Houston Texans have produced the second least rushing yards per game this year and the third most passing yards per game in the league for 2020. Darren Fells is only 4,800 on FanDuel and 2,700 on DraftKings.